August 1955, Hopkinsville, Kentucky. A bizarre encounter would take place at a secluded family farmhouse, miles away from any nearby residents. The event would entail two entire families becoming trapped and encircled by creatures from outer space. The standoff would last hours, well into the early morning. It would leave behind visible evidence of something very strange having happened, as well as several battered and shaken witnesses. The events of the case are still the subject of debate today. So what happened that evening in the summer of 1955 in Kentucky? What type of creatures did the families witness? And what were the Kentucky Goblins? Let's try and find out.
Hello, I'm Mike Droberg, Marine Corps veteran and filmmaker, and we will try to answer these questions on today's episode of Forgotten History.
Just after 8 p.m. on the 21st of August 1955, Elmer Lucky Sutton, a young man in his early 20s, was visiting his mom, Glennie Langford, and three younger half-siblings at the farmhouse he'd grown up in, 8 miles north of Hopkinsville. On break from his job with the traveling carnival, Lucky and his wife Vera and their friends Billy Ray and June Taylor were with him for the weekend. His brother JC and sister-in-law Aileen, plus a family friend OP, were also there that night. Following a hearty supper prepared by Miss Glennie, the party of 11 had settled in for a card game, and this is when Billy Ray made an outlandish claim. While fetching water from a well a little distance away, Billy Ray noticed a strange light in the sky. It appeared to be on fire, but with all the colors of the rainbow, as opposed to flame orange. He followed the craft, not daring to take his eyes away from it. It eventually vanished over the tree line and came to a stop in a clearing. This is when he rushed back to the house and told them what he had just witnessed. Thinking it was just another one of his tricks, they would, by and large, dismiss him and carry on chatting as they were. Then came the sudden and frantic barks of the family dog, the barking of the sort that meant something was outside and approaching. However, as soon as the dog was unleashed to investigate, he whimpered and crawled away underneath the house. The family wouldn't see him again until well into the next morning after the oncoming events. Everyone in the house now edged to the windows to peer outside into the night. All the while the dog's whining and whimpers continued. Armed with a .22 caliber pistol and a shotgun, Lucky and Billy Ray stepped outside to gain a closer look. Lucky was first to notice a green, glowing object heading in their direction. The others saw it too upon his calls. As it edged closer, it was apparent that the glow came from a small humanoid figure. At the start of the encounter, the strange goblin-like figure remained at a distance. Then, as if it had suddenly realized it was under the two men's gaze, it flung its arms into the air and surged toward the house. Both Taylor and Sutton raised their guns and opened fire. The bullets impacted the strange creature, but merely only flipped it over. Unhurt, the creature quickly retreated back into the shadows, allowing the two men to return to the house. It was then they saw another goblin creature staring at them from the side window of the house. They again opened fire on the menacing figure, and again a direct hit only appeared to merely stun it. Within seconds, it once again ran for cover, away from the property. It would become quickly apparent that more than one of the otherworldly goblins had taken an interest in them. Billy Ray, with Lucky covering him, went back to the door, ready to investigate again. As he stepped outside, a claw reached down from above. Sitting on the roof, one of the goblin creatures had his hair in his grasp. Lucky shot at the silver-clad glowing figure. He hit it, but the impact only sent the strange being floating down to the ground. The bullet made a metallic ping sound through the night air. Once on the ground, the creature quickly vanished again. As the two men prepared to re-enter the house, they both noticed multiple glows in the trees around them. They would soon be surrounded. Back in the house, the group tried to collect their thoughts amidst the racing questions. What are these things? Were they aliens or demons? Did their raised arms indicate innocent intent? If they didn't mean any harm to the home's occupants, why did they keep coming back after being shot? Bullets may not have scared off the intruders, but someone pointed out that the bright light seemed to hurt their large yellow-pupiled eyes. Whenever a light came on the beings, they backed away. So they turned on every light in the house and waited. Outside, it was eerily silent. One of the children began to cry. Everyone made a break for the trucks, piling in as fast as they could. They screamed away from the farmhouse in the direction of Hopkinsville Police Station. At about 11 p.m., the 2 trucks arrived at the police station, blasting out of the night, filled with at least 5 adults and several children, all of whom were highly terrified. "We need your help," they told police. "We've been fighting them for nearly 4 hours." Surprised by the peculiar details of the family's report, the police were equally struck by the genuine fear and shock apparent in their statement. Regardless of what they had witnessed, the family seemed convinced they were recounting the truth from their perspective. The police would later escort the 2 terrified families back to the farmhouse to investigate the scene for themselves. Perhaps telling of how seriously the police took the reports is their request to the nearby Fort Campbell for military assistance. Although one officer did make a report of what he thought to be a strange glowing in the woods, none of the mysterious menacing figures surfaced in front of the police. No flying saucer full of goblins, no evidence that anything had landed nearby. The police did make note of the extent of the damage to their property and the surrounding area, however. The military unit arrived shortly thereafter and conducted a sweep of the area. Shortly after 2 a.m., the Taylors and Suttons returned to the farmhouse. Unfortunately for the 2 families, so did the mysterious creatures. With the police and the military unit now having left, the 2 families again engaged with the mischievous creatures. By 5 a.m., just as the sun rose over the farmhouse, the goblins began their retreat, this time for good. A report would appear in the Kentucky New Era newspaper the next day. The once quiet and peaceful farmhouse was suddenly the desired location for UFO researchers and investigators. The scrutiny and interest became so intense the Suttons would eventually sell the farm. Theories emerged about the Suttons' claims. During subsequent investigations, the family members were questioned separately, each describing the evening's events and the creature's physical appearance, being 3 to 4 feet tall, with muscular upper bodies and atrophied legs, large glowing eyes, and pointy ears, all in a consistent manner. Different artists rendered similar sketches based on the individual descriptions, and yet Dr. J. Allen Hynek, an astronomer and UFO researcher highly regarded for his work with the U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book, called the Hopkinsville case preposterous and offensive to common sense, according to the 2008 book World of UFOs by Chris A. Rutkowski. Skeptics said that the family had mistaken great horned owls for the aliens. Kentucky moonshine was blamed, even though the authorities found none on the premises that night. "We all laugh at that because Glennie didn't allow alcohol or even cursing on her property," said Smithy, a nearby neighbor. They were a very quiet, trustworthy family. In 2005, Geraldine Sutton, Lucky's daughter, was invited to speak on a panel at an event commemorating the 50th anniversary of the sighting. What she found were dozens of people who were fascinated by the encounter but had the facts all wrong. The information had been so misconstrued over the decades that sources were misquoting the witnesses' names and claiming that there were 12 alien beings instead of the 3 or 4 her family had estimated. "I thought I had heard from the horse's mouth," she said. "If people want to hear the story, let's get it right." She chronicled her family's experience in the book Alien Legacy, published in 2007, and the book The Kelly Green Men, Alien Legacy Revisited, published in 2015. What are your thoughts on the Hopkinsville incident? Let us know in the comments below.
Thank you for watching Forgotten History. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any comments or show ideas, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.